It's live. It's live.
It's not live, but we can always edit it. So hello to the people. This is Bohemian Air Goddess.
And I am Shango, the Fire God, a.k.a. OG, the real OJ.
Yes.
We here live in Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville.
We here to talk about how we first met, how we began this journey we're on, this beautiful relationship we have. And let y'all know how it all started. And let the Air Goddess kick it off. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
With my side.
yeah.
So, me personally, I want to just share where I'm at right now, currently, and how I felt that everything from our past tied into now, and how I felt that even before we had an understanding of what we were doing, we were creating something bigger than what we knew, you know. So my version of it is this, okay? So we met each other on Tag, pretty much. We met each other on
Tag.
We met each other on Tag. Now me, I don't know how the hell he was able to even get to me to be able to send me a message, because I thought that I had it set on my settings to be able to only speak to people that's locally. I lived in Phoenix for the past 8 years before I came to Jacksonville. So I am still newly out here to Jacksonville, but I was living in Phoenix. And all of a sudden, I get a message from him. And at that time, he had his locks.
Right.
A whole completely different look.
Whole different look, right. And I was fat, real fat.
He wasn't.
Like 300 pounds.
That was after me, because when I met him, he was not that big. He was still wearing tank tops like this. At that time, he was wearing blue ones and different ones, you know. But he was wearing tank tops. He wasn't no fat dude or nothing like that. That was years after me. In 2014, he wasn't fat, so he needed to come correct with that. Anyway, we met on Tag. And the first time we met, I don't even know how the conversation happened, but I do remember, the one thing I remember is when we got on video. We went on, that's when it was the Uvo, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. We got on there, and the first time we video chat, it was like the first time I saw him and the first time he saw me, it just was like, it was a pause for a second. It was like a pause for a second, and it was just like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know how it's just like your soul speaks to something and your mouth might not, but it's just like, damn, like you feel like home. That's what I remember that I got the first time we talked. And we stayed on video for probably, I remember we didn't even get off the phone. The only reason why we hung up is because he had to work in the morning. But we stayed on the phone the first time we talked for hours, just talking about everything. Like, damn, catching up. Like, how you been? I miss you. And that's how it started for me.
Right. Now, just to piggyback off her, I remember seeing her on Tag, seeing that she was from Phoenix, but it was like, all right, this woman beautiful as hell. Even though she raised in Phoenix, I'm gonna talk to her anyway. Like, this woman is fucking gorgeous, man. That's when she had a low cut. She had a low cut back then. And I'm just talking to her, not knowing it was gonna actually go somewhere. But like she said, it was just like almost like we knew each other before, and we just reconnected.
Right.
And once we exchanged numbers, started video chatting, it was like, it was on our way up. It just took off.
Right.
Never looked back.
I think we had one phone call. Like, I think we had one phone conversation before video, but that was like short because we went straight from the phone to video. And then after we did that, the only time we was on the phone was when he was at work. When he wasn't at work, around the house, we just walking around with the phone video chatting. It just was like bliss. I'm gonna tell you that.
Very amazing.
Yeah.
Felt like, you know that feeling you get when you meet somebody and it's just like something you never felt before.
Right.
So you don't let it go. You always want to feel that. So that's why we stayed on the phone, because that's all we had at the time.
At the time. But let me tell you this, we met in February, okay? We met February the 3rd, I remember. By February the 17th, he had already bought his ticket to come to Phoenix. He had already bought his ticket. Now, he told me, he was like, I'm coming to see you. And at that time, I had people that was in Philly and people that, my family, friends, people that have been in my life all my life that was saying that they're going to come and see me that didn't come and see me. So this man told me that he coming to see me. I'm like, whatever. No, his ass bought the ticket. He emailed me the itinerary. And I said, yo, he really coming. He not even playing. Bought the ticket, came out to Phoenix. And it just was like when we first got together, it was like it was the feeling, it was still there. I think that it was so different to be in front of each other versus being over the phone. So it was different in that aspect, but it was just like finally, like I get to touch you, I get to feel you, I get to hold you, all that good stuff. It was so fun the first night. Like
I was all over her. Like, you gotta understand, we went all the time without actually touching each other. So when I got around her, that's all I wanted to do was just be under her, on her, or next to her.
We went. Where did we go out? I think we went out a few times. We barely went out. We did more like family things, and he went to church with me because at that time that's when I was still in the church. So he did those things, to let me know that he's there and all that other type of stuff. But he pretty much was like, look, I really don't want to be out here, and I got to go back to Jacksonville in 2 days. So, I mean, I really would appreciate if you could speed up the process. So he wasn't really feeling all that going out and sightseeing. He ain't really care to sightsee in Phoenix.
This the only site I wanted to see was right here. Like, this is all I wanted to see. Like, I got 2 days.
Right.
And then it's back to, plane tickets ain't cheap, you know what I'm saying? So, like,
but it was worth it. It was so fun.
It was very worth it.
Yes, it was so fun. Yes, and then the month after, we went to the mall. We went to my sister's. My sister cooked.
Right.
He came to church. Trying to think if we did anything else. I think we went out to eat, but I think we wound up not even keeping the food. We didn't even eat at the restaurant. We brought the food back to the room. So it was just like it was just us. Like, and that was nice to just really just it be us. And then a month later, I bought my ticket to come to Jacksonville to see him. And when I got out here, I just remember the one thing I remember when I got off the plane, I called him and I'm like, I'm waiting for you. And he got out his car, and all I wanted to do was just jump, wham, because it was like, oh my goodness, it felt like forever, but it was like a month and a half, like 4 or 5 weeks.
And that felt like forever. Like each day felt like forever. Like waiting for that plane take off is like
right.
You counting every moment, every second. I was so hyped about it. It was really worth it. We had a good time.
Yeah, and then we can press forward because circumstance happened. It was long distance. And not only that, I was 24, he was 25. And to be honest, we both were young. We were in, not saying 2 separate places, but technically 2 separate places because I'm very spiritual, so I believe in timing, and I feel like at that time it was time for us to connect. It was time for us to meet. It was time for us to remember who we are, but it wasn't time for us to be together because he still had some growing that he had to do, and I still had some growing that I had to do. So the universe did separate us, but we stayed in contact. We stayed in contact, and it was so funny, the communication, because we both moved on. We both tried, other things, which is funny because we still tried to connect in between all that. And it wasn't right because we shouldn't have anybody involved in that while we try. You don't do that. You don't play with people, but it is what it is. We stayed in contact with each other. And every time we talk, it was like, listen, like, you mine, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck if you over there, who you been with, who you dealing with, you mine. While we got this time right now, I don't give a fuck if it's 5 minutes, you mine right now. And that was that just was the vibe every time me and him connected. Like, and pretty much what happened.
She being nice. I made a dumbass mistake, you know what I'm saying? I made a stupid decision and moving on. There was a conflict about, like she said, about her being there, me being here. There was different parties involved in the decisions and whatnot. So at the time, like you said, it was like, I guess it wasn't time, but I made the childish stupid mistake of moving on, thinking that things would be better, but it wasn't. Once you meet this person and that person provides that connection, and then you can't get it from nowhere else, you got to go back to that person. It's like, oh man, like what they say, the grass ain't always green on the other side, you know.
And sometimes some people can't even go back to the side that's watered. So, you know, but I, you know, like I said, I got into other things for myself, which helped me get to a point where I could be open to or receptive to him. Because for a long time, I was just like, no, I don't want it. Like, nope. I shut it down for a long time. Like, we could be cool, but that was it. You know, I was still, I don't want to say just hurt. I want to say bitter, but then I also want to say I wasn't bitter, but it's kind of like bitter because you was holding on to something that you couldn't control really.
Exactly.
So
I mean, I went on a mission. I was on a mission to get her back. Like, I had no phone number, no Facebook, none of that, so I had to write through email. You know what I'm saying? I started writing on email, and that's how I eventually got a number. And after that, I just kept in constant, I don't say constant communication. You know, like she said, she was kind of bitter or mad, so it'd be moments. You know,
it wasn't bitter or mad. Listen, let me tell you something. First of all, since we being real, so I moved. Okay, so it took me. He moved on from me immediately. Okay, since we being real, and it took me time. I didn't get into another relationship. We broke up. We got together in 2014. We broke up in 2014. And I didn't start dating I didn't get with anybody until pretty much the middle of 2016. And then he came back literally not even a month after I got in a relationship, kind of like he was watching or monitoring me or some shit like that. And he seen, oh, this motherfucker got a boyfriend. And the thing is when he was single, I mean, when he moved on, I didn't go on no rampage of trying to stir up some shit with his current girlfriend or anything like that. But not him. He decided that he wanted to go ahead and him, he just like, I'm just fucking with him, you know, whatever. But he just felt like he could do that. So that, you know, he just felt like he could do that. And he decided to come back when I was in a relationship and I wasn't, you know, it was kind of like he wanted me to drop all that to be with him. And yeah, the feeling, everything was, the vibe was there, but I couldn't just drop my situation just to pick back up where we left off because, come on, you know, he dropped it.
Right, I just felt like I knew we was going to get back together. So that's why I kept pressing the issue.
So present tense, okay? So present tense, how we back together now. Now, how I feel is I started getting into tarot a little over a year ago. And I started getting readings at that time, probably in May last year. Started reading April, May. What is before May? April, May. Yeah, April. Probably end of April. So I started getting readings, and he was coming up in my readings, Leo energy. And the stuff that they were saying, I wasn't thinking about it because at that time, I'm going to be honest, I was talking to someone else. So I assumed that maybe I'm getting a reading and this is speaking on that specific connection. Well, he continued to come in, and I still have feelings for him, but I'm not going to allow him to just come back in and think that he's going to come back in and call me today and then 2-3 weeks later call. Like, no, it's not going to even be that type of party. What is it that you want? Because you way out there and I'm way over here, what you playing with. But I still talked to him when he reached out to me because he was dealing with his own stuff. And I felt like, you know, let me just, you know, be light to him and love and just speak some encouragement over him so that he feel like, you know, he can still, you know, regardless of wherever else it was coming from, whatever the case may be, he came to me to talk, and that was just that. But I just was like, nope. I still wasn't trying to hear it.
Nope.
I wasn't trying to hear it.
See, I had to do a lot of persuading, you know, to get where we at now. You know, 'cause she wasn't gonna make it easy for me. And she wasn't supposed to make it easy for me because I fucked up. So I gotta work hard. It took me years of persuading to get her to where we at now. You know what I'm saying? And I guess, like she said, everything happens in the right timing. Because who's to say if the relationship would be strong now, we would have stayed together or got back together earlier. You know, we're both older now. We've both been through more things. We both learned. So now we come together now, and it's like two grown adults who got more experience about life and know what we want and what we don't want.
Right. That
So
part.
it's like it's perfect timing right now.
Right. Right. And I'm so thankful that, because the thing is, when this man came into my life, because I gotta go back to that first of all. The reason I knew I loved him is because I was like, I don't know how somebody can make me wake up every day and just be so happy, and I just smile so much. And this man hasn't even touched my body, but he touched my, like, that's how you know that shit is real. Like, I really felt like, oh my goodness. And then even at that time, like, even when it happened, I didn't have no ill feelings. I still was thankful, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, you provided something to me that I haven't gotten anywhere else. And still to this day, he still provides something that I haven't gotten anywhere else. It's just that simple, just to be able to wake up. And the thing is it's not a phone call I gotta wait for. I just gotta wait for him to open his eyes now, and I can just still, even while he's asleep or just laying next to me, I can touch on him and feel on him, and like, I can physically be near him. That is so much better than that damn video.
Right, but the good thing about the video and long distance, it made us connect in ways that wasn't physical. So emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, we was already there. So by the time it was time for us to be physical and be around each other every day, it was more blissful. You know, it was like the final piece to the puzzle, like mission complete. You know, we completely here. And I've been enjoying every minute and second of it, except maybe 30 minutes of the 4 months. You know.
He told me 30 minutes. Right, that's how I am. Probably about 30,
35 minutes.
Because it's just like, that's really how it is. If I be mad at him, I can be mad at him, and then in the midst of it, it's just like, I don't want to be mad at you no more. I love you so much. Like, that's just how I feel.
That shit, you look at me and smile.
And it's just over.
My
Just
sucker
over.
ass just look at her and smile. You can be going right at it. She'll just look at me and smile. I'll be mad as shit and I look at her. I just gotta smile too.
Yes.
I try not to, but it won't work.
Try to be hard at it.
Try to be hard, it won't work.
No.
I gotta turn my head or some shit.
Right, he can't, that's the thing, yeah. Because if he look right at me, that's the thing, he won't look at me. If he look at me, even if I look at him, he won't look at me if he mad or if he don't want to get over it at that time. But it's so easy to just be like, you know, it's so easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easy.
It's very easy. Easy is good. No one wants to hold grudges in a relationship.
Right. And he's teaching me that. He's teaching me how to, like, not take everything to heart. And that's something that I've been holding on to so much, because I'm like, no, I want to feel how I want to feel. And it's just like, how you feel all the time is not always what the reality of the situation is. That's just your perception of it. And in reality, in order to grow, you have to look at it from that standpoint. You know, it's not all about just you. It's just a lot of stuff that I've been learning, you know.
Yeah, we both teaching each other a lot. We learn a lot along the way. It's very exciting. So I'm a strong promoter of long distance relationships. If you can make it work, make it work. It'll be worth it at the end. You gotta be strong, you gotta be secure, you gotta really love that person.
And mind you, let me get this. We met, and we only physically, when we only spent 6 days together out of 3 months. And it was a lot of video chat. That's it. That we spent 6 days, and that's all it took. And for 6 years, regardless of whatever distance or time, we stayed connected in some way. And in my spirit, I always knew in my spirit, I always knew, and I'm talking about back then, I said, this isn't finished. And that was even when I got blocked on Facebook. Something in my spirit said, and I believe from that day, that's the crazy thing about it, even if it took 6 years, I believe, because sometimes it take a manifestation 6 months, 6 years, 6 days. It just depends on how strong or how powerful, how much it's really worth. So don't ever give up on what you believe in. But I believe from then that regardless, this man is somebody that's gonna always be in my life.
Right. She manifested it. I manifested without knowing. You know, she taught me all about that. So when she taught me about it, I realized, I guess I've been manifesting her this whole time. You know, and this time around, like she said, we spent 6 days together within all those first 5 years. This time around, I took a whole vacation and came to Arizona. 7 days.
Right. 8 days, because I made him late for his plane.
She made my plane get delayed.
Right. No, it got delayed. But yeah, he think I got powers like that. But I really did want him to stay another night because it was like we needed more time.
Right.
That's how powerful I am.
And those 8 days was like, it was a learning experience and it was fun at the same time. And it was like getting a taste of how life would be. You know, we were in the same city and around each other every day. And I loved it. And that's why we here now. You know, she loved it too. God was even stronger in person, so.
So we promote long distance relationships. We promote love, black love, support your king, uplift them. It's okay to cater to each other. It's okay to support and spoil each other. It doesn't have to be a one-sided relationship. Y'all both can love on each other. Love on your man. It's okay to listen, because that's something he teaching me too. Because, whoo, let me tell you, I can tell you a story about that, but we ain't going there today. But it's okay to just like accept him for him and let him be the man that he is, and for him to accept you for who you are and you to be the woman that you are. You know, I'm telling you, takes you far.
Right.
But that's pretty much all I gotta say about it. If you want a part 2, just let us know in the comments. If you like the video, go ahead and thumbs up.
Like, subscribe, all of that.
Share this video. Share
More
content.
videos coming.
Yes, definitely.
We will be a lot of fun stuff too, so please subscribe. Hit the button. I'm Shango, the Fire God.
Bohemian Air Goddess.